Hello guys, welcome back to Live in Media. I'm Chamake Zonyase, and today I'll be bringing you something very special as usual and something that will be very educative as well. Today's topic is on priorities. So now, what do you think about priorities? Priorities is something that you take more important than other things. It's something that you feel it's more important than every other thing. Normally, if I'm asked to choose between myself and any other person, I would definitely choose myself because I'm more of a priority to myself than any other person. Now, let me give an example, a random example. Let's take for instance, for a boy who is terribly sick, and that same boy has to go to school. What do you think is going to happen? Do you expect his parents to take him to school when he can barely stand? It's not possible. For him to be able to go to school, he has to be healthy. For him to be able to go through that stress in school, he has to be healthy. He has to be able to stand on his feet. He has to be able to communicate well with other students. So you don't expect his parents to take him to school. Why he has to be treated first? The priority to the parents is his health first before education. Because a dead person cannot go to school. That's the truth. A dead person cannot go to school. So now, I'm going to give 5 general view of what priorities is and how you can prioritize your life. I was reading this book, Developing the Leader in Me by John Maxwell. He's a very great man and mentor of mine too. He talked about priorities there in the 3rd chapter, I think. So you can still read it up. It's a very nice book, Developing the Leader Within Me. I'll put a link down in the description so you can get it online. So, and I also listened to someone again who talked about priorities, Sam Adayemi. He's a pastor and he talks. And I also listened to someone again who talked about priorities. His name is Sam Adayemi. He explained 5 different things you can prioritize before adding any other thing. It's something that everybody in life has. Just your spiritual life, your work life, your relationship, and every other thing. But he gave 5 general aspects that most people have in their life. Now, for you to be able to exist in the first place, someone put you into the world. Someone made you and put you into this world. So for any other thing, it's supposed to be your first, your number 1 in your priority list. And that is God. God has to be your number 1 priority. Because without him, you cannot even breathe. Without him, you cannot stand. So he's the one that actually made you, that put you into this world that you want to prioritize things in. So first of all, you're supposed to have a very strong spiritual backup, and that is God. Then after God, what comes next? I ask this question, and some people say, my friends, some people say their family and all of that. But after God, it's supposed to be you. After God in your priority list, the second person is supposed to be you. Because you have to exist to be someone else's friend. You have to exist to be someone else's daughter. You have to exist to be someone else's mom. You also have to exist to call those people your friends. You have to exist to have them as friends. So you have to talk about yourself first. Look into yourself first. Take care of yourself first before any other thing. So I mentioned 2 things in your priority list, and that is number 1, God, and number 2, yourself. Then the 3rd one is relationships. Your family, your friends, and all that. Someone might say, what's the use of that one? What's the use of relationships? They are very important. They are worth more than your work. They are worth more than your money. Because relationships can lead you to a very long way. It can help you in so many ways that you don't understand. Having relationships, just being able to call this person, hello, Dean, how are you doing? Hello, Ken, how are you doing? Hello, Chama, how are you doing? It goes a long way. It goes a really long way. Sometimes you might not even expect help from that person, but out of the blue, poof, and the person is dead. Relationship goes a long way in people's life. You have to develop your social life. Have a very stable social life. Socialize with people. Make friends. Not make rubbish ones, although. But make friends. Have good friends. People you can not depend on totally, but people you can talk to. People that you can help out. People you can always reach out to. Because no man is an island. You have to have people around. You have your family. You have to be close to them. You have to bond with them. Make sure that you guys are in a good relationship. It's very important. I've mentioned 3 things now. That is God, yourself, and your relationships. Then the 4th one comes, and that is your work. Let me give an example now. A married man sometimes will love to prioritize work over his wife at home. And sometimes, not sometimes, most of the times it brings problem in the family, because you cannot expect to ignore her and then be running off to work every now and then and expect her to just sit at home, make your meals, make your bed, do everything, take care of your children, and you don't even give her that attention. But you married her and kept her in the house. It's not okay. Those relationships that I said before are very important, because when you're out of work, you still have to go back home. You still have to go back to her and meet her at home. So your work is important, but your relationship should come first. So as I was talking about work, your work should be your fourth thing. And work can be either a secular work or a spiritual work. It can be being a pastor or being a priest or any other thing. But in these two kinds of work, you have to put your ministry work first. That is your spiritual work. You have to put your ministry work first, because it's there to, I'm not saying you should put it like, make it the whole center of your life. In as much as you have a ministry work, bringing souls to God, it's very nice. In as much as you have that work, you also have to balance it with your secular work. You don't expect to just be in the church 247 and then manna will fall from heaven. It doesn't happen that way. No manna will fall from heaven. If you don't work hard, you will not gain anything. There is no food for a lazy man. So you have to work hard to be able to get something to eat. So you have to work hard for manna to fall. And it does not just fall from the sky. It does not just come out of the blue. There has to be effort. Nobody sits at home and then money fall from your bed. Maybe you dream of money at night and then when you wake up, the money is under your pillow. It does not happen like that. In as much as you have a ministry work, bringing souls to Christ is good, but you have to balance it with your secular work, because you cannot pray to God 247 and then not putting any effort to your secular work and expect money to fall from heaven. Who will take care of you? Will you beg on the streets? So these things are things you have to put into consideration. That's why they're called priorities. You have to know your order of priority. Place things according to how important they are. If you're able to place things according to how important they are, it will take you a long way. It will go a long way for you. Note, I mentioned 4 things, and that is God, yourself, relationships, and work. Then you can add any other thing to it. You have to add any other thing to it. You can have football practices, any other thing. But make sure you place things according to the order of importance. Thank you and God bless you. Thank you also for tuning in. I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.